Assalamu alaikum. Just before I go for Jumu'ah, I thought I would just quickly send a message regarding our previous topic which I discussed last week, which is to do with the madrassa fees. So it's very important that you listen to the last discussion that we had, or the messages that I gave out. And this today I want to mention it from a different aspect regarding the madrassa fees. So now we have to think about the madrasa fees as we have to understand that this is a contribution that we're giving for the sake of Allah, for the benefit of the community, not just for my own children or for my own family, but this is a contribution that I'm giving in the path of Allah for the benefit of the whole community. Because if let's say these madrasas were not to receive any fees, then these madrasas would not be able to run. And imagine if there weren't any madrasas to teach in your community, what will be the identity, the Islamic identity of the Muslims growing up in your community? We can understand that the religious knowledge will be at a decline and the level of Iman and Islam in our children will be at a decline. So you understand the importance of the madrasas. So we understand that the fees that we're paying are a contribution to keep these madrasas running so that we can take part in the rewards that are being spread. Because not all of us can actually take part in teaching Islam or spreading Islam with da'wah. Many of us, are busy with doing different things. So how do we take part actively in gaining the rewards of spreading Islam within our communities? One thing that we all can do is some money that we have, we give it for the sake of Allah. Whether that's in contributing to the madrasas. And if our children are studying these madrasas, then as a form of madrasa fees. But we don't just think that this is just for myself and for my own children. We have a greater intention, and the greater the intention that we have, the more rewards that we will get. So we make an intention that this is not just for my own self, the fees that I'm paying is to benefit the entire community. And this is our responsibility. Unfortunately, because of the society that we're living in, we've become very individualistic, whereas we only care about ourselves and our own children. But as Muslims, it's our responsibility to care about our neighbors, to care about our communities and our society. Not just how Islam can thrive in my children, but in the children of the entire community. So that this is our responsibility. And just by thinking about ourselves, we can't go to Jannah. We can't be true believers without thinking and caring about the community. And this is what Allah says in Surah Al-Asr. Allah says, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ, that the entire mankind is in loss. Why? Except those إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. So how do you take yourself out of loss? Number one, you believe and you do good deeds. And there's a part two to this as well. And without part two, you cannot take yourself out of loss, which is وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, that we help one another towards the truth, in establishing the truth, and we help and we support one another in sabr, in patience. So the first part is to do with our own selves, that we ourselves bring iman and we ourselves will do good deeds. And part two is about encouraging the community, benefiting the community. That's why Allah says in the Quran, kuntum khayra ummah, you are the greatest nation. Why? أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ, you are taken out for the benefit of mankind. This is what Allah refers to us as the greatest nation, because we benefit mankind. So we're not just for our own selves and our own family, where Allah is changing our mindset to think about a wider society. This is why the Prophet ﷺ says in the hadith, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ, the best of people are those who are benefiting others the most. So now let's take us for an example. So now how can I be a part of spreading Islam in our community? I don't have that much knowledge. I haven't studied in a madrasa. I don't have these qualifications. But how do I participate in this reward? One thing is donate to the madrasas, because alhamdulillah we all have money. Donate to the madrasas. When you pay your child's fees, don't think of it as a burden. That I'm going to reduce as much as I can. This month's fees are £40. I'm going to try, my child didn't attend on Saturday, so I'm going to take off £5. No, don't think like that. Because that £5 that you reduce, you're the one that's losing out. Think of it, this is an investment from me for the community so that Islam can thrive in this community by means of this madrasa. And what we spend, inshallah, Allah will give us in return for that. Allah says, وَمَا أَنفَقْتُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ فَهُوَ يُخْلِفُهُ, whatever you spend in the path of good, then Allah will recompense you for that. وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلِأَنفُسِكُمْ, and ultimately Allah says, whatever you spend for the sake of Allah, then that is for your own self. وَمَا تُنْفِقُونَ إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ اللَّهِ. So that's the first thing. So we don't just worry about ourselves, we worry about the full community. And we understand that the madrasa fees that I'm giving is not a burden or a tax, but it's a donation for the sake of Allah so that Islam can thrive in the community and I can also take part in this reward as well. So now when I have this attitude, when I have this mindset or understanding of the fees, then inshallah we'll happily give the madrasa fees. We'll even give extra on top, because I don't want to just give £40 for the sake of Allah and that's it, and my rewards ends there. But I want to give more and more and more and more. And this brings me on to another thing I wanted to mention, is this, if our intentions are correct, then this can also become a means of sadaqah jariyah for us as well. So if I financially contribute towards a madrasa who's a means of knowledge spreading in the community, and these people that come out of the madrasa and study in the madrasa, they'll continue to spread their knowledge, and their students will continue to spread their knowledge, this will become a means of sadaqah jariyah, continuous reward for us. Even after we die, inshallah, when knowledge of deen continues to spread, I will get the rewards for this as well, inshallah, because I was a means of this madrasa being established and running. And then finish off with one hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said to his companions. He said, أَيُّكُمْ مَالُ وَارِثِ أَحَبُّ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ مَالِهِ, that which one of you loves his inheritor's wealth more than his own wealth? Meaning, who would love that all their wealth goes to their inheritors and they don't have anything? And the Sahaba said, مَا مِنَّا أَحَدٍ إِلَّا مَالُهُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيْهِ, that every single one of us, we love our wealth more, meaning we want it to stay with us. So then the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ مَالَهُ مَا قَدَّمْ, his wealth, meaning our wealth, is that which we put forward, we send forward, meaning for the hereafter. Our wealth is that wealth that we spend for the sake of Allah, by putting it forward in this life. So that's what's going to belong to us. وَمَا لَوَارِثِهِ مَا أَخَّرْ, and the wealth of our inheritors is that wealth which I hold on to, and I don't spend it for the sake of Allah. So our wealth in reality is that much which I contribute for the sake of Allah. So let's start with our madrasa fees, changing our mindset about the madrasa fees, that they're not just the fees that I pay, like I pay for Sky subscription, I pay for Netflix subscription, I pay for this subscription and that subscription. It's not a fee as such, but think of it as a donation for the sake of Allah, so that Islam can thrive within my community by means of this madrasa. And if I, and likewise other parents, and other people of the community did not support this madrasa by giving fees or donating voluntarily, then this madrasa would not survive and it would not continue to exist. And if that happened, then the Islamic knowledge and identity of the Muslims in this community would be at risk and will decline until it ceases to exist. So think of yourselves as a participant in spreading the knowledge of Islam through your money. So this is why I said, that we take pride, So this is why I said that we should, number one, pay our madrasa fees, and number two, try and even pay something on top. If the fees are £40, try and pay £41. Every little helps the madrasa, and every penny that you spend for the sake of Allah, like Allah mentioned in the verse of the Quran, Allah will recompense you further. So let's keep this video short. So I'll be going for Jumu'ah, inshallah. And jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.